as you can see on the screen here, there are 3 players involved when it comes to shipping hazardous materials on an airplane. So we first have our big dog, which is the United States DOT, that is the Department of Transportation, and they have what we call the hazardous materials regulations. They're the ones that regulate hazardous materials here in the United States, and actually more specifically, administration called PHMSA, the Pipeline Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. But when we ship by air, we are typically going to get pulled into some international standards as well. So that's the other 2 players that you see on the screen here. We have a group called ICAO. Now, if you've never heard of ICAO, if you don't know who that is, it stands for the International Civil Aviation Organization. ICAO is a subcommittee of the United Nations where there's experts from around the world that get together and they create some standard set of rules that you should follow when you ship things on an air. Now, we're not going to be learning about the ICAO rules. We're going to be learning about some rules created by a group called IATA. And if you don't know who IATA is, IATA stands for the International Air Transport Association. And it's actually just the airlines themselves. So companies like FedEx, UPS, American, United, you get the point, right? There's a lot of different airlines out there. They got together and created their own set of regulations that they want you to follow when you ship dangerous goods on an airplane. So the DOT regs, they're found in something called the 49 CFR. If you've never seen that term before, CFR just means Code of Federal Regulations. That's where all the different rules of the federal government are found. If you were to go in the 49 CFR, they actually have rules for all modes of transportation. So they have rules for highway shipments, for rail shipments, vessel, and applicable today, they do have rules for air shipments as well. With that said, you're not typically going to follow the 49 CFR when you ship things on an airplane. You're actually going to get pulled into those international set of regulations. So kind of looking at the second graphic here on the slide, you can see ICAO, and they created something called technical instructions. And those are rules, again, that they suggest people follow when you ship things on an airplane. Now, the good news with all of this is that the DOT does give us permission to follow the international air regulations instead of their rules when we ship things on an airplane. Now, key caveat here, part of the shipment does have to be by air. So if I was shipping something only via highway, I can't use those international air rules. At least part of the trip has to be on an airplane. The good news is it does incorporate the parts of the trip that aren't by air, because when you ship something on an airplane, it's not like your package just magically teleports into the back of the plane, right? It's got to get there somehow. So typically, it's going to hop onto a truck. The truck drives the airport, and then we load it up, right? So even for that highway portion of the trip, the DOT does give us permission to use the international air regulations instead of theirs. So they're just basically saying, you know what, you can just follow one set of rules for the entire cycle of transportation. So from the moment it leaves your door and ends up at the recipient's door, you can just follow one set of rules. Now, if you look at the slide right now, you'll notice they don't give us permission to follow IATA, though. They actually say, you know what, you can use the ICAO technical instructions instead of the DOT hazmat regulations. And that might be a little confusing. Aren't we learning about IATA today? Well, let me talk a little bit about how the IATA regulations are created. So if the IATA rules are created, is that they take the ICAO technical instructions as a base. So basically they say, hey, we're going to take all of that. Okay, we incorporate the entirety of the ICAO rules into our rules, and then you know what? We're just going to add a few more stringent requirements on top of that. So the good news is when we follow the IATA regulations, we're also following the ICAO technical instructions at the exact same time. So we're still meeting the intent of the DOT. In fact, you have to do this because the airlines are going to force you to do this. It's kind of like no shirt, no shoes, no service. The airlines are going to say, hey, you want to put your stuff on my airplane? Well, you got to follow our rules. So they're going to force us to use those IATA regulations. And again, DOT has given us permission to do that. Now, in terms of enforcement,